Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to be telling you talking about the best AIOs for overclocking for the most thermal headroom, um, where you're not going to have, any real issues with temperatures at all. And full stop. Okay, I'm going with the Arctic Freezer 3. If you want the best cooling for your CPU, hands down, you got to go with the Arctic Freezer 3. Now, it doesn't have, crazy, a crazy LCD display or anything like that. But Arctic is like, that's what, like, they are a no frills cooling company. They don't mess around with, you know, oh, this looks cool, this and that. No, they are 100% about the cooling lifestyle, right? Um, so let's see. Let's look up maybe some other stuff that, what are, see, because really, I'll tell you why in a second here. What are some AIOs similar to the Arctic Freezer 3? And I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. If you go look at Gamers Nexus, their videos that they make on CPU coolers and which ones are the best for um, just general CPU temperatures, the Arctic Freezer 3s um, always come out on top. They are the top CPU cooler out of every single CPU cooler that they have tested, and there is a couple reasons for this. It is not, some type of, magical thing that they're doing here. Um, let's see. Let's see if I can see let's see, products, CPU, water coolers. Let's see. Okay, we got the Arctic Freezer 360, 280. I know they got the 420. Here we go. This what? Whoa, where? Oh, here we go. Boom. Liquid freezer. This is the 3 Pro. I think there's just I just have the regular 3, right? But the 3 Pro, the difference between that and the regular liquid freezer 3 is that it comes with the Pro fans, right? So mine came with the regular Arctic fans. This comes with the Pro fans. But other than that, they're pretty much the same exact cooler. They might have changed some like fins or something like that, but I kind of doubt it because the Arctic Freezer, the regular Liquid Freezer 3, is already a cooling monster. Um, okay, this is what makes Arctic special, is they have a very thick radiator, right? It's not only gigantic at 420 millimeters, but it's also thick. And this is the same for the 360 millimeter variant. They are all very thick radiators, which literally, like, compared to some, just looking at this right now, this is double the width of some AIOs. So you might be getting a 420 millimeter radiator or a 360 millimeter radiator, but the actual thermal capacity that this radiator is able to the amount of heat that this radiator is able to dissipate is so much. It is probably maybe not doubled, but probably like 60 to 70% higher than a radiator that is very thin. So let's see, let's look up let's put in AIO, right? Let's see. Images. Let's see if we can get a side view from something like, here we go. This is like, a lot of people would probably look at this and be like, oh, this is such a nice, AIO. Like, look, it has a screen and everything, and like, wow. And it's $400. $400. Let's see if I can get a side view sort of deal here. Okay, here we go. Look at how thin that radiator is. This is what you're getting for $400. $400. And how much was the Liquid Freezer 3? Let's go. Okay, buy now on Amazon. $97 for a 420 millimeter AIO. This is what I'm talking about. No frills. Like, they don't mess around, right? They have by far the best pricing in the market, and they are giving you a better product. Like, this is the kind of thing that you have to recommend, right? Do not go with something like this, right? This is stuff. These are things that people don't think about. you're not getting your money's worth, right? I promise you that screen is not worth $400. Okay, this is a way worse overall CPU cooler in terms of thermal capacity, right? First off, it's only a 360 millimeter. Now, 360 millimeter is the biggest generally that people normally will go, but it's you're just getting so much less, right? Now, the only thing you're getting more is a screen. If that's really that important to you, don't go with whatever this is. That's way too damn expensive. All right, let's look up 420 millimeter AIO. Let's see some of the other competitors. Okay, here we go. If you want some RGB, you got the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 with the ARGB fans. Fantastic. Let's see what Be Quiet. Now, I've seen Be Quiet coolers, and let's see if I can skip a. So here we go. Well, you can kind of see it. Well, look at that. Thin as hell. Thin as hell. I don't know what these companies are doing, right? Like, it seems like Arctic is the only one doing it right, okay? And they're charging way less than the competitors. Let's see if we can yeah, they're too embarrassed to show a side view. Once again, look at that. Look at how thin that is. What in tarnation? So at this point, right? Let's see. EK nucleus, very strong, but often more expensive. So let's look at this real quick. Just take a gander. I'm sure this is probably going to be a great. If it's very, I would hope it's great. For if it's more expensive. So this looks to me, I can't even tell if that's thicker than the Arctic or not. EK nucleus. Oh, is this EK? This is actually like EK, the company that went out of business? Okay, I definitely don't recommend this then. Oh God, no. And look at how I'm pretty sure that's thinner than the Arctic Freezer 3. Or awkwardly, yeah. Cooler Master, maybe. Okay, well, where I need some links here. Okay, let's take a gander at that. Just to see. Okay, what is that? See, once again, like, what in tarnation? Like, I'm looking at my Arctic Freezer 3, and it is twice the thickness of that. Twice. Yeah, like, this is stuff that people just don't think about, which is unfortunate because, people all most consumers are thinking about is, oh, this guy has a screen. Good Lord, definitely don't buy this. Holy, what in tarnation is that? Good Lord, go with an air cooler before that shit. I'm trying to see. That looks thicker than the Asus one, right? That does look thicker than Asus. And it does have a big screen. Like, that's kind of cool. Actually, this is not bad. This is not bad. If you really wanted a cooler with a screen, 109 is not bad. Now, I don't know. Is this this Jungle Leopard? Yeah, I've never heard of that before. Okay, they're on Newegg, so that's something, right? Yeah, they got the Jungle Leopard. They got that. Okay, I don't know why that jumps to 229. That must be a third-party seller or something. But yeah, I would give it a shot, right? This isn't too bad. But because it is where is it at? No, what am I looking at here? Did I look it up on the same? No. Okay. Oh, here we go. Back. I would give it a shot. But if you could buy okay, I would buy the protection plan though, right? This looks pretty good. 360 millimeter AIO. If you're on like AMD, you'll have no problems cooling whatever you throw at it. Now if you're on like Intel and you have a 14 or 1300K, this might not be enough. I'm not gonna lie to you. Even my Arctic Freezer 3 420 still is kind of on the limit when you're doing a extremely strenuous all core workload like Cinebench. It still hits, it's able to control it, but I can promise you that something like this, it's probably not gonna. Maybe if it's a short burst, right? Because the water hasn't fully like saturated with heat yet. But anything like long, you're definitely gonna notice like higher CPU temps. But It is 360 millimeters, so it is gonna have, but for the price, this is not bad. Yeah, I'd get that. Shoot, I'd get the 4-year protection plan, right? Because this is a nice cooler, I will admit. Um, and for 109, you're not gonna find a better deal than that. I can promise you. Um, for a CPU cooler with like a screen like that, I almost want to buy it just to test it out. So yeah, yeah, I might keep my eye on that. Yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. Let's see some other stuff real quick. Okay, here we go. We got the thermal right. But once again, look at that thickness. Look at the thickness. Like this is a great, like that's the thing. They're ruining great coolers. They really are. Like this is not good. Um, in my opinion. For $207, obviously this is a really cool screen. Okay, I'll give it that. Um, and I guess if you're on AMD, once again, like lower power CPUs, or even the newer Intel, like the 270K plus or the 270K, this is fine. But it's like when you're charging this amount of money for something, you really want it to be good. And I'm sure this is good, right? I'm sure it is good. But when you see a company like Arctic go above and beyond with, like a thick ass radiator, even down to I think the 240 millimeter, they're all thick like that. Literally, they just be having thick ass radiators, you know, um, from the side, and they're showing it off too. They're like, look at this, right? We got a thick ass radiator. That compared to this, double the width, right? Um, let's see, what is the width of the Arctic Freezer 3? And honestly, like they have every right to, right? Because it seems like they're the only company doing it. Okay, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't understand. And you'd think with something like Be Quiet, they'd want to make a thick ass radiator because that allows you to lower fan speeds, lower noise. Their name is Be Quiet. You know, yeah. Maybe these are thick, but I highly doubt it. Well, would you look at that? Not thick, and it low key looks like it came straight from China. Um, like just look at that radiator, that looks cheap as hell. Um, you look at I mean, and the finish on the Arctic looks great. Like I have it in person. Now, I will tell you this: do not get thermal paste on it. It's going to be a bitch to get that thermal paste out of this like grainy texture. It's rough. You're going to need like 99 to 92 to 99% isopropyl alcohol to actually get thermal paste out of it. So be very careful with that. I learned that the hard way. So yeah, really full stop. Go with Arctic. Like, what do you do? If you don't go with Arctic, what are you doing? Right? And if you really want to, they have screens on Alibaba or AliExpress or whatever that supposedly fit like on the Arctic cooler. And it's a screen, right? If that's really what you want. But in my opinion, oh, what is this? Hold up. Does that look like a thick radiator? Come on, tell me this is thick. Oh, get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. What are you doing? No. No. What incarnation? Bro, I don't care. Okay. That's aggravating. That's aggravating. Let's see. Can I get a good view? No, that's definitely I can just tell from that. That is not a thick radiator. And there's a reason why when you buy radiators themselves for a loop, right? For a custom loop, they're 99% of the time going to be thick, right? Let's just look up custom radiator loop. Let's see what we get. Here's shopping. Okay, so here's a custom radiator, right? So pretty much what Arctic did was they took a what you'd use for like a custom loop. You hook up the GPU and CPU and all of it too. They pretty much took a radiator for that and they put it on an AIO. That's pretty much exactly what they did. And look, this without any sort of tubes or anything or pump or anything is $150. Like I don't know how Arctic is doing it. I really don't know how they're selling their product for such a cheap price and it just be better than all the competition, literally all the competition. Um, so yeah, if you have any sort of, first off, if you want the lowest temps, boom, go Arctic. Like, unless, I haven't seen anything that is equivalent. In my opinion, a screen is just not important, and it really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that important to you either. Reason being is that most of the time you're not going to look, you're not going to be staring at your PC. And second off, the more screens and stuff going on in a PC, the more distracting it becomes. So, you know, like for me, if I had a screen on my PC, I'd probably just set it to like some solid picture or something. Like I would not want it to be moving or anything like that. And for me, I just have the Arctic Freezer 3 with just the black, it's just black. Like it's just the black. It doesn't have the RGB. It's just like this. And it looks great. Like it looks fantastic. Um, you can tell it looks premium, right? Like it's not overdoing it. Yeah. So if you, you know, and not, if you're going for any sort of overclock, right, on any platform, you're raising heat levels, this and that, you got to go Arctic, right? Like, and by the way, I'm not affiliated with Arctic at all, not even a little bit. It's just when, I don't even know what this must be for. Like, this must be for, um, Threadripper, is what I would think, unless this is like I don't know. What is this? I'm kind of interested now. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I'm tripping. I thought that was a GPU die for like a split second. That's a Threadripper chip. Anyways, though, when a company offers this much price to performance, you can't really recommend anything else, right? When it is better and cheaper than the entire market, this is what happens. Like it's just better. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say if I'm being totally honest. I don't want to kill your dreams of having, an air cooler with a screen and everything. Maybe one day Arctic will come out with something like that, but like I said, there are no frills, no, they don't mess around. They go for the, that's why people buy Arctic is because, that's the thing. They don't do anything cool like screens and stuff. So if they were performing worse than the competition, you know, that no one would really be buying them. But that's how Arctic has built such a good name is that they just make really, really good products for not that expensive and they just work, right? I've had tons of Arctic fans. None of them make noise. None of them, obviously, they make a little bit of noise because they're a fan, right? But none of them have given me any issues. They have, they have good CFM, right? They blow a good amount of air, and you know, um, it's just they just make really good products. So yeah. Um, Now, I do have some Liam Lee fans in the build because that's one thing is like I do wish Arctic would come out with like a cool RGB sort of fan instead of just because if we look at fans, right, um, they have some crazy stuff like server fans, right, 8K, 4K, crazy. I have some 8K of some of these, which oh my god, like y'all have never seen or heard a crazier fan in your entire life. I think I have a video. Where I deshrouded my XTX and used these on it. Pretty cool video. And I recommend you watch it. But yeah, they have little tiny fans and all this in that. But yeah, they don't have any sort of cool, RGB sort of fans. That would be cool. If they came out with something like that. So, but still, generally, if you're going for like a no RGB build, go with Arctic, right? If you're going for a very clean, just black aesthetic look, obviously Arctic is king, right? So yeah, I would go with the, let's see, where's the pros? I don't what newest first? Where are the pros? Are they like out of stock or something? What the hell? Anyways, yeah. So cooling capacity. Am I missing? Normally they have, maybe they're out of stock for the pros. But anyways, yeah, if you're going for a, once again, no frills, no messing around sort of, company like that offers crazy value, you got to go with Arctic. These 8K server fans, um, let's see. I think they have, I could have sworn they had a something on Amazon. Oh, here. Yep, Amazon. You can get this for $40. 8K server fan, 8,000 RPM server fans for $40. I'm sorry, but Arctic just does it better. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you end up getting an Arctic cooler and you'll see, wow, this thing freaking cools the heck out of my ish, right? So, yeah, definitely, definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it. Now, that one cooler, I will say it one more time. This cooler, no, where is it at? I don't know where it went. But the jungle one with the big screen, that okay, well that's 150 on Avio, but we saw it on Amazon for 109, I think. That's actually a decent deal, right? If you just absolutely have to have a screen, this and that, I would get that one with the protection plan to make sure that if the pump clogs or anything like that, you got a backup, right? You get a replacement. So yeah, that is what I recommend if you really want a screen. This, it looks cool. It's a it's a 360 millimeter AIO. It's gonna cool well, right? You shouldn't have any issues with cooling capacity. Let's see, what is it? Jungle something, Jungle AIO. Boom, 119, 109, 107. So really, well, what the hell is this? What? Come on now. Why is this $250? Why is that $250? This Radiator not even thick. So yeah, I'd go with something like this, right? Not a lot of money, and it's 360. Like, this is pretty good. This, in my opinion, this is really good value for what you're getting. So as long as the CPU pumped, or yeah, the pump doesn't clog or anything, you should be good, right? So, anyways, hopefully this was useful. Okay, what in tarnation? Oh well, god dang! If y'all want a 360 millimeter AIO with a screen, get this one right now. It's only 109. The 240 millimeters more expensive. So yeah, hopefully this was informative, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.